Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another Versus Night. Tonight, I will be comparing Dirty Dancing, released in 1987, versus Ghost, released in 1990. Alright, so let's get started on this one with the leads. Dirty Dancing stars Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey, while Ghost stars Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Now, this one is pretty difficult because I enjoyed both of these performances by Patrick Swayze. I think he did a great job in both of these films. And his leading lady in both of these films, Jennifer Grey and Demi Moore, have a really good chemistry alongside Patrick Swayze. But I don't think I've seen many movies where Patrick Swayze didn't have really good chemistry with his leading lady. I mean, he was just so charismatic and cool that you could have just about cast him alongside any attractive female and he could have made it work. And Jennifer Grey, although not the most beautiful woman, she has this cuteness factor about her, especially for this role. I think it was kind of weird with the story, and I will get to that with when I get to story, but overall, I thought they worked well off of each other, and their dancing sequence were phenomenal. Whereas Demi Moore had another thing that with Patrick Swayze wasn't dancing, it was pottery. And as far as a hot scene, really sexy scene, I think Dirty Dancing's dancing sequences with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey can't compete with the pottery scenes with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Those were just awesome. But overall, I think because of the seriousness of what happens to Patrick Swayze in Ghost, I think I'm going to give that film the advantage on this one, but just barely. I mean, the leads are very good in this one. So let's move on to supporting and see what we can get here. All right, so Dirty Dancing's supporting cast consists of Jerry Orbach, Cynthia Rhodes, Jack Weston, Jane Bruckner, and Kelly Bishop. Ghost's supporting cast consists of Whoopi Goldberg, Tony Goldwyn, Rick Evans, and Vincent Schiavelli. Now, as much as I just said that I like the drama and how good Ghost was, one thing that does bring that film down to me is Whoopi Goldberg as the psychic character in this. I mean, I have never been a fan of Whoopi Goldberg as a comedian, and I wasn't really a big fan of her as an actress. Now, she doesn't really hurt the film that bad, but she doesn't do it any favors either. Now, there is a character that annoys me in Dirty Dancing, played by Jack Weston, but I don't think he's as annoying as what Whoopi Goldberg is. But the rest of the cast in Ghost with Tony Goldwyn, he is just such a great villain in there. He just trying to portray himself as a really loyal friend but then deep down he is this villainous character, and he does a great job in it. And I think it's one of his best roles he ever played. And I mean, he never really became a really big star, but I think this was one of his biggest roles that he ever had, and he was really great in his role. Vincent Schiavelli is the ghost on the train that kind of helps Patrick to learn how to use his abilities and everything. And yeah, he was a fun character and everything. I liked him in there. But overall, I kind of think that Dirty Dancing's cast, other than Jack Weston, is a much better supporting cast, in my opinion. Jerry Orbach is amazing in his role. And everybody playing, whether it's Jennifer Grey's character's mother or her sister, or the friend that is helping Patrick Swayze to teach her how to dance, Cynthia Rhodes. It is just such a great supporting cast. So I am going to give this one to Dirty Dancing. All right, so let's move on to story and see if we can get a different outcome with this one. The story for Dirty Dancing consists of, while vacationing for the summer in 1963, a young teenager falls in love with a rebellious dance instructor. Now, the story for Ghost consists of, after a man is murdered in what seems like a random mugging, he finds that he is now a ghost and figures out that the attack was a deliberate one. Though, like I said, the weirdness factor of pitting a teenager with an older character, with Patrick Swayze's character in here as the dance instructor, it's a bit, it's a bit risque, especially with, being the time period it is even set in, with 1963. Whereas I think the story with Ghost, with the man being killed and finding out that there's something bigger that was going on with him, and it helps because you get to know him and Demi Moore's character in there, to where when this goes down, you actually feel for him bad, real bad for him after this happens to him, because of how attached you got with him. Like I said, it was just the Whoopi Goldberg scenes when she comes in as the psychic that kind of bring this one down. But overall, I think the story on Ghost is probably a bit stronger and less pervy. All right, so let's move on to direction. Dirty Dancing is directed by Emile Ardolino, and Ghost is directed by Jerry Zucker. A Dirty Dancing direction is, he is really good at directing and choreographing a lot of these dance, which probably it was a different person choreographing the dance sequences than directing, most likely. But it's got to go in there with the direction, I guess you might say. But the dance sequences are so amazing in Dirty Dancing. But considering the age range that the character is supposed to be in and everything, it still makes Dirty Dancing a little bit creepy in a way, for me at least. Now, most people might not have issues with that, but for me, that aspect of making her this teenager that falls in love with this older dance teacher and everything was kind of But it was well directed. And like I said, the dance sequences are phenomenal. Whereas Jerry Zucker is very impressive in his direction on Ghost, just because you have to consider that he was directing before Ghost. He was directing comedies alongside his brother for movies like Airplane and the Naked Gun movies. So for him to come in here and direct a fairly serious movie all the way through, with the exception of those scenes with Whoopi Goldberg, like I said, he did a phenomenal job. And I think it's pretty obvious where I'm going with this one. I'm going to give the direction to Jerry Zucker for Ghost. That's an easy win for me. Well done direction on this film. Ghost winning with a score of 1, 2, 3. But what do you think of these two films? Would you have compared these a little differently than what I did? Let me know in those comments down below. And, as usual, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight Fan Plus member, you have access to an area right now on the channel where you can vote for a movie, TV show, or ranking video of your choosing. And when I do that video, it will go up for all Plus members to view prior to it becoming available for everyone else. So if you want to get interactive, now's your chance. Well, that's the end of another Versus Night. If you missed last week's Versus Night, check out the link up in here. Or if you've missed any of the other Versus Nights, check out our playlist and see anything that you have missed.